But now everyone's running out BP, so it's like, it's kind of like a great equalizer in terms of like getting valuable resources to use. So, but at the same time, then it was like, well, why even wear armor? Why even wear a helmet? Like, it's like they're just gonna anything I have access to right now is just gonna go through. So, what do you think?
I think it absolutely sucks. I honestly think it's like the worst decision that they've made out of the whole patch.
Yeah. So this is the Scav Talk podcast, bit of a reboot from the Scavvy Boys podcast,
It's a better
and
name.
yeah, much better name, dude. I'm awful with being creative when it comes to namings and branding. It's just not my forte at all.
It's hard.
You
It's
know?
hard.
But dude, let's talk about Tarkov, dude. So I kind of wanted to at the start jumping to it, talk about some of the news. I think you mentioned that you saw the community podcast that Sneaky Russian hosted?
Well, I actually didn't see it itself because I didn't have time. Because I think it was like 2 hours or something. But I did
Yeah.
end up watching a few of the summary videos, so I kind of got the idea
Okay.
of overall of like what they spoke about, which did seem to be a lot about like general stuff that's not like immediately impactful on our Tarkov experience, but things kind of towards the longer term,
Right.
1.0
Right.
release, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah. I think Nikita originally he wasn't supposed to come on, or he was like only supposed to stop by for 15 minutes. And he ended up getting excited and started like leaking a bunch of stuff, so to speak, which is pretty cool to hear him talk. Um
So you got to love that. That's why people love Nikita, right? Because he's just like
yeah, yeah,
he's not just kind of like the faceless corporation, even for smaller
dude.
companies or whatever. He's just kind of like the man, and he comes on and just like starts
Yeah.
talking about stuff. It's great.
Yeah, I love their approach to the community interactions. It's awesome. But yeah, dude, jumping into some things that stuck out to me. I mean, he talked about a lot of stuff. Like they were even asking him stuff about cultists, and he was like saying, "Oh, I can't say too much." And I thought we already knew some of the things, but there was seemed to be like even more stuff. But factory expansion was one thing that stuck out to me. That's supposedly next in the work. Um,
Hmm.
which I'm looking forward to because I like factory, but I just hate that one forklift spawn. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about.
Do you hate the one at the back, the one where you're in the small room,
Yeah, that's the
um,
one. Yeah.
and you're kind of like stuck between because
Can
you can have people spawn either way, right? It's like down the
Yeah,
glass corridor or the other room on the left hand side,
yeah.
and there's nothing you can do necessarily.
I just hope they keep the spirit of map. I mean, it could stand to, like, add some more loot to, like, the office area, to kinda, like, attract more people there, especially for that quest. Do you have that quest yet where you gotta kill 6 PMCs in the office?
I do. I haven't actually started on it yet.
Yeah, me neither.
I have that one. I think I'm just about to do it because I just got the under 25-meter kills with the bolty
Okay.
as well, because I normally do those together,
Nice, nice.
because it's easier. And I think this time it's actually there's a much easier way of doing it, which I think I didn't really think of it myself, to be honest. I saw Pestily doing it on his stream, which is using the 366 AP
Oh.
in that thing, which is a lot better. Because
Oh,
doing that
that's
with
a
the
good
Mosin
idea
back in
because
the
you
day
can
was
use the
awful.
Yeah, because you can use the
Yeah,
any
because you can
bolty
use any
now.
bolt you like, and you use that
That's
one.
a
You
really
use
smart.
that hunting rifle thing, and it's
Yeah.
got like a Picatinny right on the top as well. So you can just stick a red dot in it. You put some 366 AP in it, and then it one taps people in the chest if they're wearing level 4 or level 3. And I think level 4's like slightly dodgy, but
That's
level
pretty
3 for
cool.
sure. So I,
Yeah,
don't know, I think that makes it a bit easier.
for sure.
So that's cool. But yeah, I mean the expansion. Like, what did they actually say on specifically? Because within because I didn't see the actual cast, but were there any details? Like, what did they actually
No
say about it?
details. He just mentioned that's next in progress as far as because
Okay.
I think they asked like what are some of the new maps or older maps you're gonna rework now that Woods is out and Factory came up. The other one he mentioned, which surprised me, was Interchange. He said a very
Mm-mm.
small expansion. I believe that was
Yeah.
his words.
I wonder
I
what
don't
that
know. I
means.
know that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Because
Uh,
right, you can really only expand in like outside
right,
if you're going to
right.
make the map bigger. As in, um, that's quite an yeah, that is an interesting one. I mean, the factory one is quite yeah. It was funny because you mentioned to me offline that you'd seen about the factory expansion and were excited about it, and it kind of got me thinking more about just like the general structure of the game, which is kind of like a bit weird, where eventually, I think the idea is that all of these maps, I mean, they've said that it's going to all connect up at some point, but it's
Right.
weird because like factory's going to be part of customs, right? It's basically just going to be
Yeah,
part of
it's
customs.
like a building inside customs.
Yeah, it's just a building
Yeah.
inside customs, and it's kind of odd that I guess eventually they will probably make it an important place to go. Either it'll be kind of like a USEC stronghold, like it is in the Raid series,
Mm,
something like that, or there'll be some compelling reason to go there. Because it would be kind of sad actually if you log in, you load into customs, and then factory the map is just there, but like no one goes because it's just like a random building in the corner, and you go there and you're like, oh, the amazing fights we used to have here. But I'm sure they'll put something compelling in to kind of make people go there because it'd be a bit of a shame otherwise. But I mean, from a law perspective, it is quite central, right? So
yeah. Yeah, I have more thoughts about, like, the open world stuff, but maybe for another
yeah.
time, I wanna stay on topic,
But I think that's
um,
kind of interesting, yeah, because I think like yeah, if you expand factory too much, it disappears into customs. Was kind of my
yeah.
my thought about it.
It's
But
just, like, the map dynamics is just kinda weird 'cause all the PvP happens in that, forklift spawn usually,
yeah,
or office, and, like, the other half of the map is just, like, dead usually, so anyways, um,
yeah. I mean, factory's still super. It's such a cool map.
yeah,
I
I
wish I was
like it.
better at it, honestly. I wish I was better at factory. It's very good, but yeah.
Jumping back to the interchange expansion,
Mm.
um, you remember they did I don't know, I guess it was a rework? Remember they did the lighting and then they added the killer stashes? Do you remember that?
Yeah, well, they said they said they did the lighting, but
Well,
it still doesn't work that well as far as I'm concerned. But
yeah, maybe a third time's a charm, I don't know.
yeah, maybe because it's still like it's the fog thing. I don't know what they
Oh,
did with it,
yeah.
but it's the fogginess inside when you're far and when you're far away, you can see really clearly into the car park, for example, if you're down
Yeah, it's
outside,
really
and then you get in there and it's like really foggy, you can't see anything,
right.
which is just super strange. I don't know why it is like that.
I
It's very weird, but
I mean, I think it's just because the fog is drawing, you know, based off of your
mm,
location.
it must
So,
be. I think it must be.
if they could somehow get it to, like, hide whenever you're inside the building, that would be ideal, but yeah,
Mm.
I just wonder what they're gonna do because they already there was people complaining about extra camping, and then they came out with that update, which added the kill a hole. And so I wonder if they're doing, like, a 3rd round, if they're just gonna expand it a little bit or, like, change. I wonder if that's just my curiosity if they're gonna change, like, the extract at all or
Yeah,
add a new one.
I think it probably does need it, honestly. I mean, people complain about extra camping, and like, I'm not one to complain about it,
Mhm.
but the game like lends itself to it, right? Like, I
Yeah.
think like people should be able to do it if they really, really want to, but interchange makes it so easy because
Yeah.
you have no choice, which
Yeah.
I think is just bad. So I do really think they should change that, to be honest. Because yeah, you either go out of the one exit or you go out of the other one with no backpack, which is like, why were you playing
Right.
interchange if you leave without a backpack?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you don't really have any choice. I've actually been playing a lot of Scav on that map because you
Oh,
can
yeah?
leave out of either railway or
Right.
Emacom every single time, which
Yeah.
actually makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Being able to choose which side you go out of, it's actually a massive difference. I kind of underestimated it before this wipe because I normally only play Scav on Factory, to be honest, but I've been playing a bit more other maps with Scav recently because I've had less time to just like sit down and do PMC. But yeah, I don't know. I think they should incentivize it less. I do, even though people can still do it and it's fine. If it's in the
Yeah.
game, then that's fine. But it'd be nice to have some more dynamic sort of outside spawns, and they could make the outside bigger. It'd be quite cool.
Yeah. Definitely. Um,
I think the other
like
thing that we were
yeah.
looking at was like streets, right?
Yeah,
That they keep talking about, and
they
like
were talking about
the
it.
talks of like a helicopter extract.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That sounds very interesting to me. Like, especially if it could come down anywhere, that would be such a cool thing. Like, rather than it just being like it's a set location, can you imagine if there's like 4 helipads on the map or something, and they
That'd
could
be
come down
really
to any
cool.
of them? That
Yeah.
would be sick because then it
Well
would be like really dynamic. You wouldn't know where you're going to exit.
that would be
That
so
would actually kind of
cool.
be exit camping too. I'd hope they do something like that. That's what I would like them to do personally.
Yeah, no, that would be really cool because then you would see the helicopter flying and you'd be like, "Oh, we gotta go follow the
Yeah,
helicopter." Yeah, that would be so cool, dude.
yeah, and it would like maybe only take out like one group or something.
Yeah.
So
Like
you'd have like people fighting to, you know,
yeah, it'd
get
make
out
it
from the
so
helicopter.
much more dynamic, especially if it took a while for the helicopter to, like, get to this area. and then
Yeah.
land and then or whatever, drop the rope or whatever because you could try to catch them as they're,
Mhm.
like, trying to extract. That'd be really cool. What's interesting about that too is, the lore in Tarkov is that it's a no-fly zone, but they're kinda, like, breaking that rule in the lore,
Yeah. Yeah,
which
I
I'm
don't really
all
know how they're
for.
gonna
I'm
deal with
not
that.
it yeah, not is but,
Yeah, I mean,
um,
the law's fine, right? It's, they're like, the thing is they haven't invested enough like, too much into the law, like, you have to really
yeah.
search around to find out about it, so I feel like it's kind of okay if they
Yeah,
deviate and say,
yeah,
"Okay, we've
for
decided
sure.
to change it." Yeah.
Yeah, Nikita, that was one of the things he mentioned too, was that he wants to really like, he's really passionate about the lore, and he wants to really start putting, like, the storyline quests in, and,
Mm.
Lighthouse was another map he mentioned that I wanna say they landed, like, they got the foundation of it, like, a general idea, but it's supposed to be really important for the lore, like, it has, like, a USEC stronghold or base or something, I wanna say.
Okay, yeah, I don't really know much about Lighthouse at all, to be honest with
Yeah,
you.
me neither.
Um, I guess it's yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see because there's still, like, quite a few maps. I can't remember how many maps are there left? There's, like, there's
There's
town, there's
town.
streets, there's lighthouse,
Yeah.
there's terminal.
Yeah.
Are there any more?
I think that's it.
Is it just those 4? Terminal I'm excited about. You know what's actually really weird is
Yeah.
that like because a bit ago I got like kind of like mini obsessed with the law and was just like suddenly really interested in it, looking around for stuff and looking for like Terra Group barrels and things on every map, trying to find out where they all were and stuff, trying to like sniff out some clues of what was going on. And I actually noticed Terminal properly from Shoreline for the first time when I was just like wandering around in offline mode. Dude, that thing is absolutely huge. Like you never notice it when you play Shoreline because you just never go there and it's just the big closed gates. But if you look past them, it is massive. It is absolutely enormous back there. I was like, dude, I can't wait for that to be in the game. It's gonna be sick. It's like proper sort of I don't know, like it'll be kind of like industrial warehousey kind of map. It'll be sweet. I'm looking forward to it. It's quite a different vibe. I think it'll be a bit more like an ordinary map from like COD or something. I think than than like a Tarkov map. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Modern Warfare 2, I don't know if you ever played it, where they got, like, the airport there. You remember
Yeah,
that? Yeah, that'd be cool.
yeah. It's got a kind of same vibe, right? It's like all man-made kind of situation because you only really get
Yeah,
that in factory, which is tiny, or in labs, which obviously has its own own issues.
yeah,
Um, so I think it'd be nice because it's kind of like it's outside but still like industrial. It'd be like a big industrial estate kind of thing. I think it'd be cool. I think it'd be fun. And it would look good on stream too, because it's easy to encode that stuff rather than going through grass, which is like honestly
yeah,
my biggest
it looks
nightmare.
so bad.
Oh my god, it's so
Yeah.
good. So I need to get a new GPU. But anyway, that's another story.
Cool, dude. Well, how's the patch been treating you?
It's been good. It's been good. I managed to hit it quite hard at the beginning, or like relatively as hard as I can hit it anyway, and whizzed through the first section, which was quite decent. And I actually got a lot of the early quests done much easier than I thought I would. Like getting the pocket watch and all that stuff, just kind of whipped through. Didn't really see too many people. Um, and yeah, I think a lot of people came back to Tarkov. So the first week was kind of fun.
Yeah.
'Cause you still have a lot of people like who maybe haven't played for a bit or whatever. So if you like carried on playing it right up until the end, kind of is entertaining to play against. Yes, for some people who aren't just kind of like the end game players who are
Right.
still left over, everyone who's just like war calloused and uh and like scarred or whatever by all of the trials that we've been through in the previous patch. So that was kind of fun. So like mix it up with that, and it's been all right. But yeah, I've kind of like pretty much just been focusing on hideout. That's really been my main priority. Given that I can't play as many raids as I would like, so I like need to focus a bit on my econ so that I can then like do the stuff that I want to do. And I've like been like pretty much bust a few times. There was one time when I couldn't actually pay the flea market fee to sell some of the stuff that I'd made because I like invested too much in
Oh
other things. I
no.
had like 8,000 rubles. I had to like sell some guns to like put some stuff on the flea market to kickstart it again. I was like, oh god. So it's so it's good. Well, how about you? How's it been going?
Yeah, I so this is my third wipe, so I want to try something different, which I haven't really stuck to, but I wanted to do what I call like a Pastelli style, where I just don't care about rubles and I just spend the money and just run whatever I want,
Hmm.
you know. And yeah, I've kind of deviated from that a bit. I'm still doing. definitely taking out more gear than what I normally do for sure, but it's kinda crazy. You know what it is, honestly? It's probably the Bitcoin prices. It's like
Yeah,
they're a half a mil. Because you get, like, a a ton from Quest. I was like, "Wow, how do I have so much money already?" Like, I was kinda surprised, but I've been playing with some newish players and, that's been fun, squad play, just kinda, like, helping them out and, doing stuff, and it's been
that's good.
fun.
That's
Yeah.
good. I haven't played, yeah, because I can only play kind of in like small bursts. I haven't really played with any. I haven't played with anybody actually this wipe at all. I've played all
Mhm.
solo so far. You get most of your bitcoins from Gunsmith, right? It's
Ye
normally where you get the most from.
yeah, there's one task, I don't remember what it was, but it gave you, like, 3 Bitcoins or 2 Bitcoins. I was like,
Hmm.
"Well, there's 1.5 million rubles." It might
Yeah,
have been
it's
turning in the
nuts.
graphic cards, honestly. I don't remember.
I think there was definitely, yeah, there was one that gave you Bitcoin from the actual quest, and then like, because how far through like the gunsmiths are you? Because I've got kind of got
I'm only
stuck on the
on
arse.
4.
I've like, okay, yeah, because I did four, and then the fifth one I like haven't actually done yet. Just because like the arse prices were just like
Yeah.
absolutely insane, and I was like, oh, I don't really need to do this one just yet. Um, so yeah, I mean, my Bitcoin farm came on the line last night.
You already got a Bitcoin farm?
Yeah,
Nice.
as I said, like I was really prioritizing it, so I've really been
Yeah.
like focusing on doing quests. There was one which was actually quite cool, and there was it was like the golden lighter, I think, and then like
Mhm.
picking up the doodad from mechanic, the GPUs from the office in customs, and then there was the prepper one as well. And I did all three in one raid, which
Nice.
was like super
Sup
cool. And I was
yeah.
getting towards the end, and I was like, oh my god, please don't someone pop out and kill me at the extract because I'll be so furious.
That's funny.
So I've like just been like trying to just be really yeah, just really efficient with the way that I've been playing so far to
Yeah.
try and get it done. I've like not really done any fun raids, just kind of like for me just going to play and do whatever. It's like every single one has been like task driven or
Yeah.
trying to use a
We play the
particular
same.
weapon or
Yeah.
whatever. So um I think it's because yeah, last time I got so stuck with like gas analyzers and USBs, I got really frustrated. Whereas this time it was actually a bit easier on the RNG. I feel like they're spawning a lot more. Last time it was just honestly, it was just terrible for me. Um, but yeah, I mean, I guess we want to talk about Woods, right? The new Woods map. I've
Yeah.
not played that much on it. I've played
Really.
some. I've played some, but I've not played that much. Have you
Let me
done
ask you
a
this. Did you
decent bunch on it?
like the old map? The old woods? Did you like it?
I actually did. I'm one of the few people that does
Oh,
actually
okay.
quite like the old Woods. I don't mind old Woods, honestly. I think it's fine. And I used to be mixed about it, and
Mhm.
then once I kind of understood the map,
Yeah.
then I was much more chill about it. Especially just like understanding just not going around the wall area around the sawmill. Like once you get that and you can use the beach area to maneuver, the whole thing becomes a lot easier. And that's kind of the way that I used to play the map, and it was a lot better like that. And I mean, I never really used to play on it that much, to be honest, just because
Mhm.
like why would you? And I'm not really a sniper, particularly in my game style anyway. And so I didn't really play it that much. But when I had to, I honestly didn't mind, and it's fine for me. But like my experience of it so far is super weird, knowing like half a map, and I feel like it's very, very strange. Like there used to be a wall, and now there's no wall, and the map just continues. And it's like
Yeah.
after this point here, there's a very, very solid line after which I have no idea where I am, and on the other side, I know it like intimately, which is
Yeah.
I find that such a weird feeling. It's so strange. It feels
Yeah.
different to like the customs expansion because that was just like a little bit on the extra, whereas like Woods is now like half the map is just like here be
Right.
dragons, no man's land.
Yeah.
I just find it very odd.
Yeah, it is weird because before I can remember when I was learning the game, I was like, "Okay, this is the white wall. I'm looking at the map. I just gotta take this white wall all the way down." And then
Yeah,
sure enough, as I'm walking all the way down, someone's coming, sitting on a rock or something. They see me silhouetting on the white wall. Whereas
yeah,
now you got that open greenery, or even like by Scav House, it's like the wall's like destroyed, and it's like
yeah.
it's a decent. I mean, it's not that far out till you get to the landmines, but it's
No,
it's cool.
exactly.
Yeah,
I've
I
got I've got chat saying new woods have died to landmines 6 times total. 10 out of 10 would play again. Every time I play it, I just hear people blowing up around like from miles
yeah
away. I just hear
yeah
going off in the background. It's just super funny. I'm just like, yep, someone's hitting landmines.
yeah. That part's pretty rough because I mean, you think, oh, I can just keep going running, and then boom, blow up a leg,
Mhm.
or get shot by a sniper. Like, we were playing a scav raid once, and it was, like, a day after the wipe, and someone was looting a dead body by, like, the sniper sign, and he was getting shot at. I was like, "Sin, don't loot that, dude. You're gonna die." He's like, "Oh, but I'm gonna get the loot," and then he died. It was
Oh
great.
god. Yeah, it is fun. It is fun. I mean, I do quite like it. It's the element of surprise. I like the fact that they don't kill you instantly though. Like
Gives you a little
there
bit,
is some,
yeah, like a
there's a
warning. Yeah.
yeah, there's a way to not die to, and to mines too, right? It's like they don't just kill, like they do. I mean, they really do screw you up, but like you don't just die outright, because that would be really annoying, to be honest. And
Let's Well, the one, you set camp, have you seen that area yet?
yeah, I've been through it once, I think.
That area has
Been through it once.
mines on it, but there's no markers, which I
Y- y-
was like such a like, "What?" You know what I mean? Like, it's scared, like, it was like a jump scare, It was like,
Yeah, I actually saw that on the Reddit after I'd already been once and been there by accident the right
yeah.
way, and I was like, oh my god, I actually got really lucky there. Um, I got super lucky, but like I don't know about you, but like I just find myself. I mean, this will probably go over time, but because I used to use woods. I mean, I've got like a small video on it, which is one of the short
Mhm,
ones I did when I was first starting the channel up, right? And I always talk about my wood spot because it's where I go to get all my scav kills. Like scav kills on any map and scav kills on woods. I just sit in the one spot, the same place, and I just sit there by scav house and I just overlook it from this like tree area, and I do everything there. And so like that's normally why I go to woods early wipe.
mhm.
And I just find myself like anytime I appear on the map, I'm just running to the old bit of woods so I know where I am. I
Yeah.
like I just feel myself kind of like shying away from like learning the new section. And you know what? I'm actually quite bad for this because I was like that with customs as well for a long time. Even
Mhm.
though I didn't realize how small the new expansion was, and I just kind of avoided it for ages because I was like, oh, it's scary and like it's new and I don't like it, and I know this bit over here, and I know I could be shot from over here. Whereas I'm just like wandering around like a lemon in the middle of, there could be all sorts of sight lines, and I don't know where I'm going.
So, when you first played it, did you spawn in a new area or an old area?
The old area.
Okay, so I spawned in a new area, and I was like,
Okay.
"Where am I?" And I just remember,
Yeah.
like, running for, like, 3 minutes, and I'm like, "Dude, this feels like open world." Like, it just feels so big. Like, I was
Yeah.
like, I got,
Yeah.
like, some weird vibes off it. I mean, I liked it, but it was like, it was a really cool experience.
It's good. It is good. I did a very, very quick one today,
Mhm.
as uh, yeah, again as PMC. I was doing the Tarkov shooter one, the one where you have to hit scavs in the legs and in the head. And I spawned in the new area, and I like ran up this very, very big hill to that there's a bit on the map where there's like a big sort of steel like security door with the wheel on it. That kind of area. I don't know if you've been up there yet. I don't know. It's going to be important, I imagine. It looks like some
Big
kind of stronghold thing. It's like a security door, like into the side of the mountain. It's like you have to go up this mountainous
Oh,
area.
yeah, like a bunker
Yeah,
type of
kind
thing?
of. Yeah, 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 that kind of thing. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it looks almost like something that would be on like reserve
Huh.
in my mind.
You didn't go
So it's
inside,
like a
though?
military bunker. Well, you can't open the door. But I went around the corner and there was a dude like sniping off the top bit, and he
Oh,
saw
yeah,
me,
yeah,
and I
yeah.
like, and I
I
was
know what
like,
you're talking about.
I turned around and I was just like sprinting because I didn't take any armor with me, so I was just like sprinting away, like running down with this, and I actually had the horrible hunting rifle, the 366 hunting rifle,
Oh my god.
and I was like just sprinting away, and like I kind of got the same vibe as you because I didn't know where I was really, and I was just like running through the mountain. It's kind of felt almost a bit like, yeah, a bit. It was open worldy because it kind of felt like Skyrim or something like that
Yeah,
at the same time.
it just felt so like, big. It was such a big map, like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's
I
huge.
mean,
Well, I think this is the thing. People like when new players all start playing Woods, they always think the Woods is really, really big. And I've always said to people like Woods is actually tiny. You don't realize like how small Woods really is. To be honest, it's a very small map. Like a map like Interchange is huge. Interchange is absolutely enormous map.
pretty big.
Like but Woods is pretty small. Like Reserve is actually pretty small. The Shoreline is pretty decent, but like yeah, I think because of all the trees, people just and they get lost so easily they don't realize. But Woods is now huge.
Yeah,
Woods is now a huge map.
yeah. I mean, I played a fair amount at the start, and what I found was that a lot of people were saying that in the old area, but there was just a lot more points of interest in the new areas. Like, they added so much more loot in the new areas, like, but, I mean, before the UN side of the map, we'll say, it was,
Mm,
like, that big rock that you could jump on top, and that was kinda
yeah.
it, besides, like, spawn killing, There wasn't, like, a lot of you would, like, never go to, like, the train station, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, we'll see how it pans out. I personally like it, especially for, like, early game loot. I found, like, so many hoses in, like, the little towns and villages and stuff
Oh,
like
that's
that,
good.
but
That's good. I genuinely haven't used it for that at all. Just because I don't know, I was just doing like tried and tested, but I think it's really really good. I think it's brought a lot more interest to the map, and
yeah.
people just didn't play it before, so it's nice now. Like I was very surprised. Yeah, I went in the new area, and I was like, what going up to kind of the old section where you've got like RUF roadblock, I think it is the one at the very far north on the regular maps, and I'm just like, oh, what's this base doing here? Like this just used to be a bit of open field. There's a whole base in here now in my old area. Like, oh god, but it's decent. I like it. I like it. It's fun.
You know what I wonder though? At one of the, previous podcasts, you mentioned the custom expansion and how when they added it, it seemed like there was a lot less PMCs you run into.
Yeah.
I wonder if the woods is gonna be like that now.
Well, I think it is right now like that, but
Mhm.
I don't know whether you saw like because they initially released it and upped the player count a little bit,
Yeah,
and then
it's
they
true.
like then they added another one to it, and they
Yeah.
said like they want people to be able to explore it and test it out, and then they're going to continue to add people until it gets to like
Ooh,
the usual
okay.
saturation. So I think right now it's going to be like less populated, but
I see.
I think it'll become more populated as time goes on as it becomes more regular. People are used to it and stuff, but we'll just have to see. Yeah, we'll just have to see. It's good. It's good.
Um, dude, the PMC loadouts.
Yes, they are
I
great.
Dude, they are so good. I was really impressed. I was really, really impressed. I thought they did a
Did you go
fantastic
bear
job.
or did you go
I
USEC?
went USEC. I go bear because the USEC looks like a lizard man. Like the default USEC. I hate his face. I can't, dude.
It's all the memes though.
I just can't, dude. But this time I went USEC and I was like, wow, I'm getting MP5s. Like how many like early wipe? I would never touch maybe my first wipe I would like save up my knives to get MP5. But afterwards, like it just seemed like so out of the way to get an MP5, but now they, like, give you, like, this lore-based loot, and it's all,
Mhm.
like, actually good gear, and they did a very good job, like, managing I think it's great, dude, I loved it.
I think it was really good as well, honestly. Like I also went USEC.
Mhm,
I don't really know why. I kind of like I sort of had in the back of my mind that I was going to do kind of like a USEC kind of like wipe run,
mhm,
only really using like NATO stuff, and then I ended up not bothering doing that. I
yeah,
just was using whatever. But even still, it's like it was quite fun to start with M4s. I think I did sort of take a bit of what you were talking about before, like a pestily style, like I'll just use whatever you have kind of thing and not worry too
mhm,
much. Like I've definitely done a lot more of that. I think like it's going through so many wipes and having loads and loads and loads of money at
yeah,
this point now. I'm just like it's fine, like I can use these guns and not even that valuable. Like
right,
it is completely okay, and especially when you give them at the beginning, you're just like, I kind of have to use them. I don't have anything else actually. It's
yeah,
either this or I have to buy an SKS from Prapor. So
right,
let's use an M4 and let's use M855 because it's actually quite decent early game now. And I had a lot of fun with both the MP5 and with the M4s that you get given. I know that
yeah.
they're not very good, right? They're what even are the M4s to begin with? Are they like 70 recoil or something? So they're really not
There's
amazing. They're not really that much better than the AKs,
yeah,
um, but it's great. And like, yeah, the MP5 was kind of like the savior of my early game, just because everyone else has got loads of recoil,
and that
and
thing's
the
just like
MP5 is like 35 or something.
yeah,
It's
it's
like
really good.
it's nuts, and you just like tap on people's heads and
Yeah,
using PST, which you can buy straight away, and it
yeah,
actually rips people. It's really good. It's a really good gun at the beginning for the first week, anyway.
yeah, next swipe, I wanna try the bear version because I was just like, "Wow, this is" yeah, I'm so glad they did that. I didn't think that was something that was gonna come this soon. Like I thought that was like way down the line on release because the old
Yeah,
system was didn't like it was really bad.
yeah. I didn't really expect it, to be honest. I mean, yeah, the old system was kind of like it is what it is, and you get your stuff, and it's kind of it doesn't really matter whether you go Bear or USEC. I really like the
Right.
fact that it's different, and yeah, I mean, in terms of the different editions, I kind of like, yeah, I still kind of wish everyone started with the same thing. I get why they give EOD people more stuff,
Sure.
but
Sure.
I'm glad that they've toned it down a bit because yeah, it was a bit crazy before. Like I think I don't know, I think the case is enough, but I get why they do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I'm
But
just
yeah,
glad you don't have a Zabralo cover running around. factor, because
Yeah, it was pretty
that
nuts.
was a little much, I thought,
I
but,
think like this last wipe, you started with one of them, and then you also got like a P90 as well, right? Was that the gift or was that
I
the?
think that's the gift,
I
if I
think that
do
might have been the
recall.
gift,
You
but it
would
was
know
just
better than I do.
bonkers. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think it was the gift, but it was honestly it was bonkers, right? You start with like a P90 and
right.
then all this other stuff, and I was just like, this is just crazy. This is
Speak
just crazy. Like,
Speaking of gifts, how about that 1,000 rounds of BP ammo coming in?
what are your thoughts on it?
I Okay, so from, like, a business standpoint, I think it makes sense, right? But from, like, a game testing standpoint, it really kind of frustrates me a little bit, but, I mean, I don't know, that I also thought that in some ways it's kinda like a great equalizer because now people that have the gifts, which I assume is, like, over 50%, but now everyone's running on BP, so it's like, it's kinda like a great equalizer in terms of, like, getting valuable resources to use, so but at the same time, then it was like, well, why even wear armor, you know? Why even wear a helmet? Like, it's like, they're just gonna anything I have access to right now is just gonna go through, so what do you think?
I think it absolutely sucks. I think it's like the worst decision that they've made out of the whole patch. Honestly, like
Damn.
this wipe and this patch is awesome. Like it's so
Yeah.
good. So much good stuff about it.
It
I'm
was
having a
super
great time on it.
smooth, yeah,
So smooth, like stuff was working on the first
yep.
day. Like the updates and the changes that they've made are really good. Like the expansions are really good. 1,000 rounds of PP is hands down the worst decision they've made
So
so far, right? And the reasons why, right? It's just like it doesn't make any sense. I can't understand why they've done this, right? Because if it's from a testing standpoint to say, okay, let's just like test the economy. Well, they've opened up the ETS servers for that, right? And so they don't need to do
yes.
that anymore on the main branch of the game because that was the whole point in the first place with people complaining about them making changes and they were saying, "Oh, well, we're scared to make changes because it's like the people act as if the game's released because it kind of is, even though they say that it's
Yeah.
beta." But and then they're like, "Fine, well, we'll make these ETS servers so we can like test stuff out on the economy or whatever." And then it's like, "Oh, now we're just gonna give everyone 1,000 BP rounds." Like, I feel like it doesn't make any sense. And it's exactly what you said a minute ago, right? Which is like, why bother wearing any armor at all? Like it negates all armor. Like BP eats everything up to and including kind of level 5, right?
Right.
And it only doesn't smash through the really, really good level 5 stuff, which can withstand like three shots maybe
Yeah.
before it starts penning all the time. Like you need to be wearing like a tactic or something,
Yeah. You
or
have to get
killer.
right, yeah, you gotta get pretty unlucky to be absorb, like, 3 bullets, with Quest 5,
Yeah,
so
yeah, exactly. And so like most people are running well, some people are running level 3, right? Literally just gonna sell through that. Level
yeah.
4, again,
It's
like
gonna
level
go
4 is
through that.
expensive. Like
Yep.
level 4 is expensive at the minute. They're costing like, it's 50 to 70k depending on when you're buying these things. And that's even like the crappy ceramic one. Um and it's just going to eat through that as well. And then, yeah, if people are using Corund or whatever they've got there already to Gajal or Corund, then yeah, they're just going to get wiped with that too. So it kind of, yeah, it removes any incentive to wear armor, and it's kind of like it's an important progression point, the armor thing. So I just don't see why they did it. I thought it was a typo. I actually I
Instead
messaged
of PS.
I messaged on Twitter to one of the other guys, Ariel, and he was like, "Oh my god, like 900 rounds of BP," and I was like, "Genuinely, dude, I thought it was 90. I thought it was supposed to be
Oh
90,
my
and that it was a
god, I
typo."
see,
Because
yeah,
like giving people 90, I would actually been okay with, because
sure.
then it's like, right, you've got 3 mags, and
Mhm.
you can either like mix and match it with PS at the bottom or something
Right.
to like spread it out a bit, or maybe use 10 rounds of BP across like a whole set of mags. It gives you 9 mags where you've got like really good pen at the beginning. Use it in the first couple, 5 even, and then it would kind of make more sense because it gives that sort of sense of scarcity. But like, oh look, here's a little, here's a little sweetener. Here's what you could have, but it's like, you got to work for the rest of it. Whereas a thousand is like,
That's a
I've
lot,
run like
yeah.
quite a lot of AK, so I'm doing like some more gun specific quests at the moment, so I can't run it. But I've been running that BP like the whole time, and I'm just doing like my standard early wipe stuff, which is just like mix and match, 15 PS at the bottom, 15 BP at the top,
Mhm.
and I've still got like half of it left because I kill like the people that I kill, like half of them have got
They have the
BP.
BP, yeah.
So I'm picking their
Yep,
BP up. Like
yep.
it's absolutely insane. It's
And then
absolutely
I looked
insane.
at price on BP when the package was released, and it was like, it was in like the thousands, and then like the next couple hours is dropping down like 600. I was like, man, I should have bought that low. You know?
I know, yeah. It's because, yeah, oh god, BP always seems to be in contention. I don't know why. Like the other, like last wipe, actually not last wipe, it was the wipe before that, the one where you could still resell stuff.
Yeah.
And I was doing my kind of like, corner of the market type thing, because
Yeah.
that's just kind of like the stuff that I enjoy. And I bought, I can't even remember how many I had. I think I had 10,000 rounds of BP that I'd slowly bought off Papor, because it was going from like, he was selling it still for like 600 or something, and it would go up to like 1,000 and a bit at the weekend. And I bought like 10,000 rounds through the week. And literally, like on Friday night, they released like 500 rounds of BP to everybody and like 2 labs cards. And the price went down to genuinely like 300. And I was like,
No.
oh no. And so, like, just out of pure frustration and irritation, I bought like another 10,000 down at like 400, and just stubbornly, I bought 8 ammo boxes and another 10,000
Oh
rounds, and waited
my
for like 3
god.
weeks for the price to go back up, because I was like, there's no way. There was no way. I was like, God damn it. Like, seriously, this sucks.
You were gonna
This
get a
absolutely
return
sucks.
on your investment one way or
Yeah, I think
another.
I have a picture of it somewhere. I'll have to find it. But
That's funny.
I bought, so I bought like another 10,000 rounds of BP, and I bought 75 labs cards
Wow.
to resell later, and then sold them 3 weeks later. And I think I worked it out. It was like 9 mil rubles profit or something. But like, I had to wait 3 weeks, and my stash was like, that's why I had to buy all the ammo cases, because my stash was absolutely rammed. I was like complaining to my friends who were playing at the time, and I was just like, guys, I actually can't play the game anymore, because my stash is so full of bullets that I can't really move my own stuff around.
Yeah.
Anyway, blast of the past. That was a good time.
You know,
Yeah, I don't know.
something that came to my mind that I didn't put down in my notes was they secretly added a cultist, spoiler alert, by the way.
Yeah.
Do you, because they gave you night vision, right? They gave
Mm.
you M2 rig, and they gave you like a bunch of drum mags and a bunch of BP. Do you think maybe they decided to do that so that way you could, oh, I got night vision. Oh, new map woods. Oh, let me go night. Oh my god, there's someone knifing me. I'm gonna turn around with my drum mag and unload a million rounds of BP into him. Do you think maybe that was part of the reason?
I don't know. Maybe that's why they gave you NVs.
Yeah, because I'm starting to put. I think maybe that might have been some of their motivation.
Possibly, yeah. The thing for me is that I would never have found out unless I'd seen, because I very, very rarely play night. I don't know, like, have you played any night raids? Have you seen any cultists? Like, I definitely haven't, because I haven't
I
played night at all yet.
I played a bunch of woods night and I didn't see any cultists. And
Okay.
then I did a scav raid on customs and it was like early morning, and someone was like, "There's a guy right here. There's a guy right here. He's not dying. He's not dying. I'm dead." And then you kill him, and I look and it's like, "It's got hexagon armor. What?" And it
Oh
was like
wow.
a player. And then I look to my right. There's a dead body. And it's a cultist. So the cultists were at Stronghold, and there was,
Oh
and then like the
wow.
swarm of player scats just come and overwhelm me. But yeah,
Ah,
that's my only sighting, anyways. Unfortunately,
wow. That's cool. I love the fact that they did just like dunk it in, and they all
yeah,
can also be there
that's
from
so
like
cool.
early morning too. Like, some of the
Yeah,
videos of people, either bumping into
dude.
them or getting killed by them and stuff. It's nuts.
If I had it set up on the fly, I would share the video, but there's a video of 41. Do you know who 41 is?
No, actually.
He's the voice of USEC 3.
Oh no, I do know him. I do know him. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I do know him.
He has a clip where he's getting stabbed by a cultist and he's screaming, and it is absolutely horrifying and hilarious at the same time. It's
The
awesome,
horror
dude.
game that is Tarkov, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh goodness, yeah. So I haven't seen them, and I don't think I'm going to see them for. I don't know. I mean, I may never see them. Who
Yeah.
knows? Like, I just don't. I just don't play Night very much. I think that's especially until I'm forced to by Quest. Like, as a solo, I
Mhm.
don't really like Night very much. Um,
I've been getting into it this fight, and it's pretty fun with night vision, though. Without night vision, it's not fun, but with night vision, it's a little more doable.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
But,
yeah,
it's more you got to spend on your kit, so it's kind of one of those things you're like, "Do I really wanna go night?" You know?
yeah. You think, like, is it actually worth it? Like,
Yeah.
everyone's got these MVs, and the GPMVGs are so expensive, and those were the ones that I was
Mhm.
using at the end of last wipe, and now it's like to go back to like the monocular and be like,
Yeah.
oh, like periscoping through the map and knowing there's cultists as well. Like, that does
Yeah,
not
it's
incentivize
horrifying.
me to go night,
I
guys.
was
Really
yeah.
does not.
Yeah, one raid I was solo and I was, like, in woods night on, like, the area where they can spawn, and I thought I heard something turn around, and I got super paranoid, GigaBeef, and I was like, "Nope, nope, I'm running, I'm running." I just ran straight to the extract. I was like, "No." I was, like, flicking around, like, every corner. It was great, dude.
Oh god, it's nuts. It is nuts. Ah, yeah. Okay, so What else? What else? What else? What else from the new wipe then?
What have you noticed from the weapon balances? Because that was one of the big things is they changed some of the weapon stats and, like, the modifications. What have you noticed?
Yeah, okay, so weapons has changed quite a bit, I would say. I've been
Mhm.
doing like some well, not it's not really testing, but just like flicking around, flicking through, looking at different
Sure.
mods, whatever. Because like obviously I do quite a lot of that anyway for my channel and that kind of thing, and it's changed up quite a lot of stuff. I think the biggest places that it has changed things is stocks and then muzzles. I mean, muzzles, yes, kind of, but the stocks is like completely different.
Yeah.
Stocks are now like wildly different. And I was like going through looking at the different options for kind of for the vector, but um, you can use any of the normal buffer tube type stocks, and it's kind of interesting to see how like which ones. I don't know why they decided to mix it up the way they have done. It seems like I don't know. I'm intrigued to know their reasoning, whether they decided that it just didn't really relate to like real world performance or something. Because like if I actually have like a list of stuff because I was looking at this earlier. So
Okay.
like the old one, which one was it? Like the Magpul PRSs, right? They used to absolutely suck. They used to be one of like the worst recoil reducing stocks in the game, and no one would ever use them because they were like all ergo and no
Right.
recoil, so they were just
Right.
bad. Whereas now they've turned this into like the most recoil reducing stock in the game that fits on those buffer tubes. So it's like any AR-15 thing, anything that's got like a stock adapter that fits those on. This is now the best, right? And that's like minus 38% recoil.
Which before with the HK one with the rubber butt pad was HKE. You know what I'm talking about? The old
The
meta?
HKE one was the best one.
Was that
Yeah,
like
previously.
40% recoil reduction?
I can't remember what it was,
It was like
but it was
43 or something?
it was
Yeah.
high.
Yeah.
It was really high. Oh, sorry, that's 38% with the buffer tube with the 4% on the buffer tube. So we're talking like 34 on its own, right? Which is it's way lower. I think the HKE one might have been 39 if I try and remember off the top of my head, just on its own. I think
Yeah.
I can't
It
remember,
was
but
pretty
like this
high.
is yeah. But now it's like it's basically a huge nerf to stocks across the board in general. So like, and it's just a huge nerf to the meta builds in general as well. Um, which is
Yeah.
interesting. Now you heard it here first. I think they've missed something, and I think that they haven't rebalanced the stocks properly. I like genuinely like for me. I don't know whether like I'm pretty sure this is the case. The MOE carbine is now the best stock in the game. I'm pretty sure. I always used to like this stock previously, so it's one of the ones that I looked at straight away. It seems like they kind of missed it, right? Because like it's got 30% recoil now. Michael Pires is 34, but you can add the butt pad on, which gives you another 3%. And it seems like they haven't really changed, they haven't really like touched it, or
Yeah.
they've rebalanced it around the stock itself without thinking about the butt pad. Because like you can buy MOE carbine really early and the butt pad, and that makes it it's the second, well, it's it's not 38%, but it's 37. So it's literally one down from the Michael
Right.
PRS, but it gives you 10 ergo rather than 3. And it's like on that basis,
Yeah.
it's like it is the second most recoil reducing stock in the game when weighted by ergonomics for stocks that give you the same
Right.
recoil. Like it's number 2, and it gives you the most recoil in that number 2 category. Like it's clearly the best stock now, but and they're so cheap. They're so cheap. Like it kind of makes all the other stocks redundant. I don't I don't get it.
Yeah. I didn't realize it was 1.1 recoil lower, but I noticed it was, like, very good. Like, the CTR Magpul
That used to
carbine.
be better.
Yeah, and now it's
It's
worse. I
now
was like
worse.
which is isn't
It
that
doesn't make
only
sense.
a find and raid
It's only
item?
funny made. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
know.
doesn't make any yeah, okay. Alright, I'm glad we're on the
Yeah.
same page on that
Yeah,
'cause
exactly. So like, yeah, exactly. So like, chat's just asking, like, just tuned in, which stock is this? So this is the MOE carbine. So the CTR used to be fine. It was finding raid only,
right.
and that one used to be better than MOE carbine because you couldn't buy the CTR, right? And it was always quite expensive on the fleet. But now, if you look at the CTR, it's now 32% with 10 ergo. The MOE carbine is 30% with 8 ergo, but you can add the butt pad, which is 3% recoil and 2 ergo, so it gets to 37% and 10 ergo, which is 1 recoil point more at the same ergonomics. It doesn't make any sense. And then but the thing is, right, to get better ergo, you have to go from like this is this is with the tube because I've got all the stats kind of together. So like
Mhm.
you have 4% from the tube, 30% from MOE, 3% from the butt pad, it gets you to 37. To actually get better than 10 ergonomics, you have to dip down to like I think the next best
Minus
one is the SI
29?
Viper. I think the Viper like
What are you talking about?
I think the Viper one is the next best, which is like
I pull it up.
11. But yeah, as you say, you have to go down to 29 to get to the top ergo, which is 13. But like, are you really going to lose like all in? Are you going to lose 4% recoil reduction to get 3 ergo? or lose 3% recoil reduction to gain 1 ergo? Like, no one is going to
Yeah.
do that.
The trade-off
No
is
one is going to do
so
that. The trade-off is
that's
crazy.
that
MOE
yeah.
Carbine is way better than everything else now.
So let me pull up the Viper. So yeah, -30 plus 11, which your Mo is you said 30. What was it again? I don't forgot the
It's
numbers.
so the actual
With the
stock and butt
pad.
pad is
Yeah.
33 and 10.
Okay. That's not too terrible. You're going
It's
30 and 11. So if you really want that,
but it's one ergo.
I know.
If the 3 recoil, like
And here's the
I
other
don't know.
thing. There's do you know the I gotta find the name. Fab Defense GL stock. You know what I'm talking about? It
Yes.
looks yeah, and there's another one that has the exact same stats. It's like the
Yes, the Fab GLR.
yes.
Yeah.
That one is like the high ergonomic one,
Yes.
but that's only a 29 recoil and 13 ergonomics. You're only getting like an
Yes.
extra 3 ergo. Like they I feel like
I
it
know.
used to be there was like a really high ergo one, like plus
I
16,
think I think that was the
the
I,
Magpul.
I think that was the Magpul PRS. Yeah, I think that
Yeah.
was that one, which is why it's so weird because that one used to be like all the way on. They've like completely changed it all the way to the other end of the spectrum. But it's strange. It's strange. But anyway, that's you hit it here first. Mo Carbine is best
Yeah.
stock in the game. But then
I'll
on
have to
and
look
then
out for that.
suppressors, they've like mixed them up as well. They've like
Mhm.
changed that up a bit. Like Daniel's defense now sucks. Um, Knight's armament is actually okay. Thunder Beast is now the best, and I think closely followed, if not equally matched, by one other one, which I forget now because I don't
Mhm.
have a sheet up for it at the moment because I haven't done as much investigation into that. But it looks like Thunder Beast is now the best, along with one of the other kind of exotic suppressors or whatever for 5.56 anyway, for like M4s.
But one
And
thing I did like about the suppressor that they did was they made the ergonomics penalty massive. Like some of them are
yes,
like -20. Like you slap
yeah,
it on a M4 and you're in like the 30s, if you go with like
mm,
a
mm,
max recoil reduction, which is nice because
yeah.
it's more of a trade-off. Because before it was like you like never really cared about ergonomics. I mean, maybe in like a few niche areas on certain guns, but it was never like I'm gonna trade ergo for recoil. You know what I mean? It was like it wasn't that common in my opinion, anyways.
Yeah, well, I think that was partly because like you could get a suppressor, like especially at the top level of play, right? You could get a suppressor, you could get a 60 round magazine, and then you
Mhm.
could just buy like the ergo grip and fix all the
That's true.
problems
Yeah.
and just go, way, there you go. And
Now
now
you
it's
really
fine again. Now
can't.
the gun is okay. But yeah,
Yeah.
now you need to be careful. Now you need to be
Yeah.
careful. I think it's because of Gunsmith Part 4, but there's one suppressor for oh god, which one is it? It's one of the ones. It's one of the Surefire line where you've got I think it's the Mini Monster or something, and it's got like
Mhm.
really really low ergo reduction, so it's actually quite good. So I think
Yeah,
that one's
yeah.
really expensive
I was looking into
because
that one.
yeah, I think it's because of the task, but I still think it'll be quite expensive just because like even though the recoil reduction is not very good on it, like
Mhm.
it's one of the only suppressors that doesn't just like absolutely annihilate your ergonomics when you put it on the gun.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe when the
But
price comes down, it'll be a little bit more viable.
yeah, so that's interesting. It's interesting. Yeah, I quite like that the Knight's Armament one is now actually quite good because they don't seem one thing that they don't seem to have changed is the drop rates for this stuff. So you still get
Mhm.
lots of those, and they're a bit more expensive than they were because people are still finding a lot of them. And it's the same thing. Like they've rebalanced a lot of the grips as well. The grips, all they seem to have done on the grips is that they've just like tightened the spread in on them
Yeah.
all. So
Yeah.
like rather than it being 5 for the RK2, it's now 4, and then the old ones it were 4 and now 3. So like the Hero Arms one and the RK1 they were 4, now they're 3, and so it's kind of like tightened everything. But they've actually there's the angled foregrip uh,
That
series, the ones with all the different colors. That one used to be like 1.75, and now that's 2. And but you find them everywhere. So like I'm using that all the
yeah.
time
Yeah.
because they're still really cheap and they're good.
They're pretty good stats.
So
Yeah, 2.6
so
is
yeah,
really
they've always
good.
been quite good on ergo, but bumping their recoil up to 2 as well means they're pretty much the same as like um every other foregrip in the game now. Because like it's like the foregrip's either worthless, 2% recoil, or really expensive because it's 3 or 4. That seems to be the way it's gone, right? It's
Yeah.
quite stratified now. Except actually, the one side note, and I haven't released this yet because I'm still kind of like recording some stuff for it on vector builds, is that because vector has such low recoil, you actually just literally stick
You're
like an
better off.
ergonomics grip on it.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
put an ergo grip on it, it's fine, and
But
it's so cheap.
but that's, like, kind of the I just wish there was more of an incentive to, like, factor in, you know, choosing between recoil and ergo, because it just seems so like, if the gun which, we'll talk in a second about your video. Well, I guess we can go and talk about it. You did a video recently on
Yeah,
how, the recoil works in EFT, how it's additive, you
yeah. How about how it's additive and not multiplicative? I mean, it's kind of. I mean, does it really change anything for? I just thought it was interesting, right? And there's like I'd
Yeah,
read a few things around on Reddit and people talking about it, and I just thought it was kind of an interesting thing to see. That people would be interested to actually know like how it works, because like so many people just assume that it works the other way. Like it's people don't necessarily like think it doesn't work one way or work another. They just like don't really think about it, and they go like, oh well, it's just going to work like everything else. So you put more mods on, and then it's it gets less valuable over time. But it's strange how it's kind of like a counterintuitive system where the guns get better the more mods you put on, and meaning that like it's almost like worthless. Because I used to really like doing the first, the early game mods, whatever, without
mhm,
really thinking about it too much, like when I was first
yeah,
playing. And it's like come to realize over time that basically, like when you're playing early, and this is one reason why the MP5 is so good, right? Like you just don't mod anything, and you just buy guns that have low recoil as base. That's it. That's all you do. Because like trying to mod the AKMS or something, which used to be one of my favorite weapons, like it doesn't actually do anything until you
yeah,
mod the whole thing
start,
out like
right,
fully. Yeah, and because of the way that the system works. But for me, it's less about just like balance, because you can balance it just fine. Like you can make it work, and like they've done it this way, right? So that they've now reduced the recoil reduction from stocks or whatever, so the meta builds just don't get down to the same level as they did, that kind of thing. It's less about balance for me. It's more about just making the system work better. Because like the example that I gave about the MDR, it just is really weird that suppressors give like a better better recoil advantage for like the M4 or a gun that doesn't have a stock attached to it versus the MDR. It doesn't make any sense. I don't see
yeah,
why it would be better to do it that way. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like why they decided to do it that way. Because what you really want is you want each mod to apply like the percentage that it says on it to the recoil that you already have.
right,
So
that
if
would
it's
make
if it's
more
50, yeah, if it's
sense,
50 recoil and it says minus 50 recoil, when you put it on, you expect it to go to 25. Whereas
right,
that's not how it works, right? This is not how it works in EFT. It's just bizarre. Like the example that I gave, right? If you have two attachments of minus 50%, every gun goes to zero. And there's that post with the negative recoil ADA because they got two stocks on, and the stocks are like
yeah,
35% or something.
yeah,
And so you end up with like 70% recoil reduction just from the stocks. And then with the other stuff, you can get it down to like -2 or something. And then it had like the video is quite cool actually, because I was like interested to see what would happen. And
mhm.
it just doesn't move at all. Like it doesn't go the other way. Because I was interested to see how it had been
They go,
coded.
like,
Can you imagine like
inward.
no, as in like you shoot and the gun goes down. I was
Oh,
kind of
yeah,
like
yeah, I gotcha,
yeah, I was
yeah.
kind of wondering what would happen. But it just doesn't move. It just looks like the guy's hacking.
Yeah.
Um with it just not moving at all. So no, but I just think it's nonsensical to have it done this way. Like it's fine and you can balance it. It's okay. It just makes things harder. I don't
Yeah,
know
well,
why you do it like
it's
that.
I mean, yeah, I mean, like you said, you look at the numbers and you think, "Okay, well, this stock 35%, I'm at 100 and, 100 recoil, it should go down by 30%," but it's, like, this weird way of doing it, and then the other thing I think about too is, like you were saying with the Vector, how it's already low recoil, you add the recoil mods onto it, it's not really doing much. Whereas, like, you have a gun that has a really high recoil, you start stacking a bunch of mods on it. Like you're saying, that's how you get it down to, like, a usable AKM now.
Yeah. See, I don't mind about that as much though. I actually kind of don't mind about that as much, because that wouldn't get fixed with the system either, to be fair. Because the recoil would already be quite low, so it would do less to it.
That's
Um
that's my next question. If they switch to a multiplicative system, um, how would that affect it when you start stacking more and more mods? Because I know, like, you play Dota 2 and I play Dota 2, but I never really understood, like, when you stack a bunch of evasion, how it like, I tried to figure out the map, but I was like, "I don't understand." I just know it's less than 35%. I'm gonna get. I'm not gonna get 35% plus 35%. I'm gonna get like a fraction of. Does that make? Am I speaking English? You give me the look like.
Yeah, in terms of like what you can get down to, or like in general.
I guess what I'm saying is, if they switch to like if they kept the system as it is
Yeah.
instead of additive, they switched to multiplicative. What would that?
Mm.
How would that affect the system? Like, would it be better for people putting light mods on there, or would it also be like you would get less an advantage from stacking a bunch of mods on there?
Y-
Like, would it be
Yeah, because what
diminishing returns? Right? It would be
Yeah,
diminishing
because what? Yeah,
returns.
exactly. Because what you'd want to do is you'd want to change it to multiplicative, and then you'd
Right?
want to increase the recoil reduction on everything. Because then your the first mod that you put on will have the greatest like
Impact.
absolute effect on the recoil.
Okay.
Because when you apply that percentage, the number is really big. So when you apply a
Right.
percentage to it, the number gets objectively smaller to begin with, and then as you
Hmm.
apply more and more mods, as you get closer to zero,
It
even if you
starts
apply the
getting
same
less and
percentage, it
less.
gets less and less and less and less and less.
Right.
And so you kind of like what you do is you flatten off that performance difference between the best guns and the worst guns. Um, which I mean, to be honest, it probably wouldn't change that much. Probably wouldn't change that much.
Hmm.
But it would go some way towards flattening that out a bit and stopping the meta builds from being like quite so good compared to the non-meta builds. But I mean, like, yeah, what they've done, like taking down the recoil on everything a bit, is kind of similar. I suppose it's kind of similar because people were complaining about that, right? People having super fully modded guns and full recoil control and extremely high assault rifle skill, all this kind of stuff. And so when people are them firing, then it's just like doesn't move. It's like
Right.
why buy hacks when when you could just like laser beam people with an M4 or HK.
Yeah.
So I think it would go a little bit of the way to make that gap not quite as large, because I do think it probably is too much. Like I know that the game is supposed to be RPG, but like if you look at a
Hmm.
lot of the ways that some of the stats are, it's like 1% less bleeding, 2% less this, that, and the other. Like Tarkov's kind of a game about like marginal gains, but there's some stats, things like some of the endurance and strength and things, which at top level they're like so wildly crazy
Yeah.
different. And I feel like the mods are a bit like that too. Like I feel like it should be like some smaller advantages that you get rather than it's just being like absolutely insane.
That's kind of how I would prefer it, because I feel like it'd be a more, you know, I don't I just feel like it'd be more balanced across the board. Like, yeah, maybe you maybe change the meta to like a very uh budget, or Rupal per performance um setup, instead of like paying an extra, I don't know, 100,000 ruples for like just a small advantage on your gun. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I guess there is that. You kind of undermine like paying for the good stuff, I suppose. But yeah, it's difficult. I mean, they've kind of gone one step in that direction already by doing the nerfs that they've done. So I guess they kind of felt the same way. But yeah, I know. I just think that like you can keep the system the same, but
Okay.
have a multiplicative system so that things like the MDR actually
Right.
make sense. Because then, like,
Yeah.
when you add stuff, it then like the system then makes sense, which is why I thought it was interesting. Like that one's a particularly interesting example, just because it's like the M4 has 100 and whatever recoil, and then it's got a stock on it, and that gets it to 70 base. The MDR is 70 base by default because the stock is inbuilt, but because it's
Right.
got a different base number, subsequent mods then like change it. They change the M4 a lot more than they change the MDR, which is like it doesn't. To me, it's just crazy, right? You avoid that by having a multiplicative system. You don't need to have that kind of like weirdness there, because they're always going to be kind of tinkering with that, right? Whereas if you change it over to multiplicative, you can then just don't worry about it anymore. You can put whatever mod you like in and everything just makes sense. Whereas with additive, you got to like, yeah, people was chatting to me in the comments being like, oh well, then you could put like a shadow stock in on the MDR that like can't be taken off, but the stats in there so it makes sense and stuff. And I'm just like, why would you do this? Right? It's like
Sounds
a
a
it's like a
little
it's like a
right.
let's like a let's just put like packing tape around the system, right? Just make the system sensible in the first place. You don't have to worry anymore. Like
Yeah.
why would you bother like
Right.
then dicking about with all this stuff? Like then what if you add something else and then you need to do it on
And then
that
you gotta
one, and
do it
it's more
all.
hard
Yeah.
coding and like all this stuff. It's just like make your
Yeah.
life easier.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought it was interesting.
What's the name of that video?
I think it's how recoil really works in Tarkov.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think. I think that's what it's called. Why'd you ask?
Well, if anyone hasn't seen it, they gotta
Oh,
know
I
where to
see.
find
I
a
see. I
video.
see. Yeah, it's called Tarkov Recoil Explained: How Recoil Actually Works in EFT. That's the actual name. That's
Yeah.
the actual name. And people liked it.
Pantomas
So
Pantomas said it best, Band-Aid fix, and
yeah,
what you're just describing, which
yeah.
seems to be their, I don't know, anyways. Um, I think that's about it, dude, unless you got any closing thoughts or anything you'd like to say.
Not really. Not really. I'm just kind of yeah, just trying to continue to build out the hideout, and so I'm now stuck at mechanic level 3. That's like the next thing for me because I have to get to level 30,
Mhm.
and I'm not there yet. That's it. But I'm happy now I got to Bitcoin farm. I think everyone should work on getting to Bitcoin farm. It's like the most important thing
Yeah,
to make
especially
your life
now,
easier.
the money is
Yeah,
insane you can make, like,
it's
it's
crazy.
actually insane.
Yeah, it is
Yeah,
crazy. It is crazy, but nice. It's been great so far. I've really enjoyed it. Actually, I've really enjoyed it.
that's
Um,
good. Yeah,
and yeah, plenty more fun stuff to come. I'm sure.
for sure. Yeah. We'll do another show, I don't know if you'll be available, but I'll find another partner, but yeah, the show will continue next Friday around the same time, and it'll be up on YouTube and Spotify and all that cool stuff. Yeah, guys.
Excellent stuff. Excellent. Well, yeah, thank you for having me on again, as
Dude,
usual.
thanks for coming on, dude. It's always I love chatting with you, dude. It's awesome.
It's always a good time. It's always a good time.
Yeah. Alright,
Cool.
guys.
All right.
Subscribe to GigaBeef. Have a good night.